Number 10, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Now, it's no secret that these two have had a very troubled marriage, mainly because Jada Pinkett Smith refuses to keep a secret about anything. The hatred I have for that woman knows no bounds. Every time this woman farts, she is on a morning show just giving the world the dirty details the next day. Recently, she decided to tell the world that she had been separated from her husband Will since 2016, and a whole bunch of other stuff that, again, I just truly don't have the mental capacity to talk about right now. Jada revealed that she was hesitant about marrying Will, and the only reason that she actually went through with it was because she was pregnant with Jaden at the time and was told that it was the right thing to do. Considering how she's handled their marriage and life in general, we're pretty sure it's actually Will that regrets this one. Number 9, Britney Spears and Jason Alexander. Britney and Jason's marriage is well known to be one of the shortest celebrity marriages of all time, lasting a total of 55 hours. Britney went into great detail about the brief and whirlwind marriage in her memoir, The Woman in Me. According to both parties, the night was the result of an apparent last-minute call to action, if you will. Jason had received a request from Britney to make his way to Las Vegas for a night of fun. He arrived, and there were apparently a few party favors, which is code for no snow. After a few rounds of fun, they decided it would be a great idea to get married because they were in Vegas. Why not, right? They were married on January 3rd, and by the end of the day on January 5th, they decided to split up. According to the court documents attached to the annulment, they claimed that Britney had zero understanding of how serious the situation really was, or what getting legally married actually meant. That is really all it boiled down to. He was just a friend helping another friend in a time of need, and at that time she needed someone to bury their face in a pile of no snow and put a ring on it. Number 8, Tracy Edmonds and Eddie Murphy. Eddie is of course best known for his comedic roles in movies like The Nutty Professor and Meet Dave, but he is also known for being quite a player. He's been attached romantically speaking to several celebrities over the years, even sharing a daughter with Mel B from the Spice Girls. However, his most short-lived and questionable marriage was to his friend Tracy Edmonds. The two did not get married legally in the United States. Instead, they had a small ceremony in the French Polynesian region of Bora Bora. The quick shift from lovers to enemies had apparently been the result of Eddie's personality completely shifting the moment that they decided to get married. According to a friend close to Tracy, Eddie started getting very physically intimidating and bossy as their marriage became official. He also insisted that his mother came with them on their honeymoon, which that's a red flag. That was the final straw for Tracy, and after 2 weeks she decided to call it quits for good. What many people may not know is that Eddie actually has about 10 with multiple women, 2 more, and he can star in his own Cheaper by the Dozen remake. Eddie is known in Hollywood for having a bit of a shifting personality, but these days he seems to have gotten more comfortable in his role as a papa. Number 7, Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. Kim and Kris became acquainted after one of Kris's NBA teammates introduced them. They got together and dated for a little under a year before Kris popped the question. They got married, and the entire ceremony was released as a special on E! Called Kim's Fairy Tale Wedding, and I want to vomit when I say that out loud. The special aired only days before she filed for a divorce, and according to a source close to the couple, Kris was not drinking the Kardashian Kool-Aid, so to speak. Kris was the one who filed the annulment and cited fraud as the reason. According to him, the marriage was not born out of love, it was just Kim agreeing to marry him so that they could film it and make some money. The entire thing in his eyes was just one big publicity stunt, and honestly, I believe him. A ton of celebrities get married all the time, but when these guys tied the knot, it was at the peak of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and this just seemed like a logical move to increase viewers and make some extra cash. As the divorce dragged on, Kim moved on to Kanye West, and not long after announced their first child was on the way. Ever since that divorce was settled in 2013, Kris has avoided the spotlight in every way, shape, and form. Number 6, Nick Cage and Lisa Marie Presley. Nick Cage is not just a wild man when it comes to the characters that he plays on screen, he's actually apparently a whirlwind of emotions, romantically speaking as well. He's had 5 marriages altogether, with his shortest and most regretful one being with the late Lisa Marie Presley in 2002. They had met at a party in 2000, and after 2 years of dating, they decided to make things official, but only 3 months later, the divorce papers were signed, sealed, and delivered. It actually took another 2 years for the divorce to become final. According to Nick, the marriage was a no-brainer. They had fun together, and both came from famous and artistic families. He later commented that when you put 2 people with larger-than-life personalities in front of each other, they can have trouble meshing together. They fell into a pattern of breaking up and getting back together over and over again until the correct decision in their eyes was to tie the knot. Because you know, the best way to start a marriage is by wearing them down. Number 5, Tom Green and Drew Barrymore. Tom Green is a great comedian, and when he appears in things delivering his signature brand of comedy, it's just a fun little surprise. It turns out that Tom and his former Charlie's Angels co-star Drew Barrymore were briefly married in the early 2000s. The two met on set of that film and dated for a year before getting married. 1 year after that, they filed for a divorce. The fact was that at the time, they were both just young and got a little bit too excited. Barrymore told Howard Stern on his show in 2020 that she and her then husband just didn't have the maturity needed to have a healthy relationship. She said that she did not know how to manage herself, and she's always said that she is a woman in the boardroom and a child at home. She could pitch a project but had trouble handling things in her own personal life. The two reconnected on an episode of the Drew Barrymore show where they greeted each other like old friends. Apparently they just put things in the past a long time ago and considered that time to have been a learning experience. Number 4, Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush. After meeting on the set of the CW series One Tree Hill, Chad and Sophia got together as a real-world couple. During an interview with MTV, he gushed about Sophia being the most wonderful, kind, and intelligent person that he had ever been with. The couple got together officially in 2005, but their love was short-lived. As soon as they got married, Chad started doing press for the horror film House of Wax, literally being forced to spend his honeymoon sitting in chairs and telling people how much fun it was to work with Jared Padalecki. After only 5 months of marriage and the relationship just kind of simply fizzled out, they decided to split. Unfortunately for them, this meant being forced to continue working together on One Tree Hill. According to them, the split and the following acting gig was not easy for them to do. At the end of the day though, they are both adults who made the show work as best as they could. The main thing that made it so hard was all of the press and negativity from media outlets, with the network literally playing ads about how terrible things were during the show. Eventually, they found love with other people, and so far, so good. Most people are probably just upset that his wife didn't end up being Hilary Duff. Number 3, Elizabeth Moss and Fred Armisen. Saturday Night Live has been the cause of many famous relationships in Hollywood. Current Weekend Update host Colin Jost met and married Scarlett Johansson after she hosted the show in 2010. They took some time before actually dating, but are currently married and things seem to be doing well. Elizabeth was in a similar situation after making a cameo during the show in 2008 when her Mad Men co-star John Hamm was hosting. This is where she met comedian and drummer Fred Armisen. Fred is well known outside of the world of SNL for his stellar character acting and overall just talent to make people laugh. He was most recently featured in one of the final episodes of the series Wednesday on Netflix as Uncle Fester, but has been working hard behind the scenes for years. Himself and Liz got together in 2008 and started seeing each other regularly, developing a romantic connection and getting engaged only 3 months after they were official. By 2009, they were married and by all accounts seemed happy, but less than a year after that, they split, with Elizabeth Moss claiming irreconcilable differences on the paperwork. In the following year, she got more in-depth about the marriage and revealed that Fred may be known for his impressions, but his best one is that of a normal human being. Not long after Lizzie made these statements, Fred actually backed that up, telling Howard Stern that he was a terrible boyfriend and husband. He clarified that when he is in a relationship, he wants it all fast and he wants marriage placed together, and somewhere around a year or so, he gets freaked out emotionally. Elizabeth actually used the words traumatic, awful, and horrible when describing her time with Fred. Number 2, Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Esposito. The relationship between these two was short and sweet, but also very private, so there is no clear idea of when they actually met or got together officially. They actually didn't even tell the public that they were a couple for the first few months of their relationship. In 2006, they tied the knot in the south of France, and roughly 5 months later, they had split. Brad has a track record of dating his co-stars, having been involved with Renee Zellweger, Zoe Saldana, and Suki Waterhouse, to name a few. However, those marriages lasted longer than this one did. Jen filed for a divorce, but recalled that the split was a mutual decision. Bradley revealed that they just both realized they had chosen the wrong person to live the rest of their lives with, despite the love between them. They stayed private between A and B, and these days continue to keep their information private, so let's move on to number 1. Number 1, Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly. Jim has had his fair share of marriages and relationships over the years. He met his first wife, Melissa, in the 80s when they were both financially struggling. Their relationship was rocky and eventually they were divorced. By the time the papers were were finalized, he had already met and started getting serious with Lauren Holly, his co-star from Dumb and Dumber. According to Melissa, she believed that there was some crossover between herself and Lauren, being a third party that split them up in the first place, but Holly has denied these accusations through and through. Their marriage only lasted 1 year before Holly and Carrey split for good. The split was again nothing more than just the natural progression of a failed relationship. Things did go stale, and they did not want to get stuck in a rut. And why not? Honorable mention, Pamela Anderson and Kid Rock, just cuz. Number 10, Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green. Megan and Brian were together for over 10 years, sharing 3 little ones during that time. The couple first met in 2004 while filming the ABC sitcom Hope and Faith. After a couple of years of dating, they got married, but just because they put a ring on it did not mean that they were exclusive. They actually got engaged and split up a couple of times before officially tying the knot. Already a red flag right there. After becoming official though, many paparazzi spotted Megan and Brian out and about with other people. Now at first we just assumed that they were close friends or something, but cheating rumors started to run rampant. As the years went by and their family grew, Megan's views on marriage started shifting. She would say that being married was a day-to-day task and it was becoming very difficult at times. Between 2015 and 2020, they were almost divorced twice, and the main reason being was the spark was just dying out and they were starting to see other people. There's a good chance that this was happening while they were still married. When the official and final divorce was filed, Megan quickly found comfort in the arms of another man, that man eventually being MGK, the man that she is still with today, and it seems like it's exclusive for now. While they never called their marriage open, they did start seeing other people while the rings were still on the finger, so definitely it counts. Number 9, Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. Alright, what's up? I'm Ashton Kutcher and you just got punked! That's something that actually used to happen on TV all the time, and it sticks in my brain and I don't like it. In case that didn't unlock the MTV vault for you that I'm sure is hidden deep within everyone's memories, allow me to enlighten you. Ashton rose to fame following his successful role on the sitcom That 70s Show, as well as his time hosting the MTV prank show, Punk'd. Now, he married fellow actor Demi Moore in 2005 and stayed married for nearly 8 years. The split seemed to come from nowhere. There was some speculation that Ashton ended things to be with his current wife Mila, but that speculation was revealed to be complete bull-poo-poo. In Demi's book, titled Inside Out, she revealed that the cause of the split was actually due to Ashton's infidelity. Apparently, he cheated on her multiple times and actually told her about it, trying to pressure her into including a third party and create this open marriage thing that he wanted. When Ashton found out about this news becoming public, he was extremely upset. According to Ashton, he had finally gotten to a place where the media was just leaving him and his family alone, and literally the next day following the news, paparazzi were waiting for Ashton and his kids outside of their school. Not only did his cheating ruin his relationship with Demi, but it kind of caused a problem between himself and the rest of his family, so that's not good. Number 8, Lizzo and Mike Wright. During an interview on the radio show The Breakfast Club, Lizzo explained how she and her ex-partner Mike Wright were never really public, merely dropping their so-called soft launch earlier this year. But during the interview, Lizzo shared that she actually doesn't believe in the concept of monogamy, continuing by explaining her views on polyamory and so-called free love. Right on, man. She said that she didn't want to live by any specific set of rules and doubled down when another host on the show, Angela Yee, asked her if the circumstances would ever change should Wright disagree with this polyamory situation. Well, Lizzo just said, well, it's just love. If he chooses to no longer love her while she loved him, that was on him. But she claimed that they did share a lot of love and that the chances of a split were pretty unlikely. Well, whether it was that comment or the fact that she is being sued for some pretty gnarly stuff, Mike decided to leave the superstar in search of a new life. Probably the best decision he's ever made. Number 7, Scott Disick and Khloe Kardashian. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is a historical series in the world of reality TV. For over a decade, fans have been able to watch this family grow, both literally and figuratively, with the addition of friends, family, and in this case, ex-lovers. Scott and Courtney's story began where all fairy tale relationships begin, at a famous friend's house in Mexico. In 2006, the pair attended a mutual friend's party at his home in Mexico, and a photograph from that night shows that they were sitting together, but they were nowhere near each other. Disick recounted liking Courtney immediately, but that she wanted, nothing to do with him. But something must have changed in between A and B, as the two appeared as a couple on the series premiere of the reality show in 2007. At first, the family was standoffish, claiming that Scott was just immature and that his loyalties seemed to mean nothing because he might have been doing some stuff behind the cameras. Kris Jenner, Courtney's mom, said in one episode that she knows that Scott was cheating on her daughter, but that she wasn't sure how to go about the situation. Disick denied the claims and reaffirmed that he loved Courtney until he could deny no longer when sisters Kim and Khloe found a series of texts on an old phone from someone named My Wife, and well, it wasn't Courtney. The text revealed that he had cheated on her while the family was staying in the Hamptons, and Kim was furious for about 2 seconds. And a year later, she would announce that the pair were expecting their first child together, making the whole cheating thing just seem like water under the bridge. Well, it didn't stop, because over the years, the couple split and healed over and over again. And one time, Scott Disick even entered rehab with the support of Courtney, and he still went out and did stuff behind her back. They split only to get back together again and again and again, and as of today, they seem to have called it quits for good, but good lord, that is a very complicated relationship. Number 6. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. In 2015, Will Smith starred in a film called Focus, in which he played a con man in the midst of his latest scheme when a woman from his past, played by Margot Robbie, arrives and just throws everything for a loop. Timing of this film being made could not have been more perfect, as we know now that Will and Jada were taking a break during that time. For Jada, this meant an entanglement with August Alsina, and for Will, this might have meant some time for himself and Margot Robbie. You know, they were free to rehearse their scenes in private, if you know what I mean. It was confirmed that Margot and Will weren't seeing each other during production of Focus, because there were a lot of pictures, but Jada Pinkett Smith was certain about it. Despite being legally married in 1997, the institutionalized concept of tying the knot just never really sat with Jada Pinkett Smith. Apparently, she only married Will because she was pregnant with Jaden and felt that it was the right move to make, which is always a healthy way to start the marriage. Force. While Jada herself is also a cheater and has publicly admitted it, she's held a grudge towards Margot Robbie for 8 years, but there's never been any proof, and for some reason she's mad, even though there have been several times when these two have been like, oh, we're in an open marriage, isn't it neat? Well, Will and Jada might still be together for now, but I think we can all agree that they just need to get split already. Now, there are not a ton of public open marriages in the world of Hollywood these days. Oh, shocker. So why don't we just cover some cheater pumpkin eaters that have been exposed over the last couple of years. Number 5, Mod's son and Avril Lavigne. This year, shocking reports hit the internet claiming that Avril Lavigne had called off her engagement to Mod's son. Well, a TMZ insider claimed that things had been on and off for a while as the couple tried to mend their romance. But then when they got in touch with the Karma Singer team, a rep declared that the last thing he heard was the couple had been engaged, and that was only 3 days prior, so anything else would be news to him. Well, Avril Lavigne had been spotted out and about with a man named Tyga, who she claimed was just a friend. But the internet likes to gossip, so the headlines were Avril Lavigne cheats on Mod's son. 1 week after his tour started and the news broke, he posted a series of photos on Instagram, making reference to a broken heart, and knowing that there is a plan for everyone. Mod thanked his fans and then went dark. Since then, the two have been drenched in rumors, but the only thing that has been confirmed is these two now reside in Splitsville. Number 4, Corey Feldman and Courtney Ann. Former Lost Boys star Corey Feldman has had a pretty rough life. Things have not gone great for this man, and unfortunately that applies to the love department as well. After 7 years of marriage, he and his ex Courtney announced their split. According to Corey, life was just simply difficult for the couple, and the split was a mutual decision. However, one aspect he did not share with the world was the fact that for the past few years they were in an alleged open marriage. While this was just a speculation, the couple were known to be free spirits, so to speak. Following some health issues, according to Corey, it just didn't make sense for these two to stay married. He decided to give her time to heal alone, while he just kinda continues to do his thing. Number 3, Natalie Portman and Benjamin Millipede. After 11 years of marriage, it was recently announced that Thor: Love and Thunder star Natalie Portman and her husband Benjamin Millipede will be separating following a pretty public and messy affair on Ben's part. Ben, who I assume was named after a children's cartoon, was spotted with a 25-year-old climate activist. While Natalie Portman was mad, she initially tried to work things out with Ben in an attempt to save their marriage, but the affair put a massive strain on the relationship. Shocker. The couple had met on set of the 2009 drama Black Swan, Ben acting as a scriptwriter for that project. While the affair had shaken their relationship, when asked about the issues by Us Weekly, he said that he shared her pain and that he was sending her a new script. Huh? While they may still be working together professionally, emotionally, they have checked out. Number 2. Drake Bell and Janet Von Schmeling. Drake was a small screen sweetheart in the early 2000s, starring in several Nickelodeon shows like Drake and Josh and The Amanda Bynes Show, and he was on track to be a megastar in the world of Hollywood, but he's unfortunately one of those child actors who took a turn for the worse. He starred in a number of low-budget movies over the years, but his status as a celebrity was gone. The final nail was driven into the coffin in 2021 when Drake was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service after it was revealed that he had been grooming a young fan for years. So if you see him in an orange jumpsuit on the side of the street or something, or cleaning graffiti, that's why. Recently it was announced that his wife Janet had filed for a divorce from Drake following a situation where he was literally missing for 5 days on a bender doing God knows what with strange women. On the actual paperwork, Vaughn has cited irreconcilable differences and has requested legal and physical custody of the younglings. Now in April of this year, Drake was reported missing, only to turn up completely unharmed 5 days later. According to Janet, Drake's mental health has been slowly declining in the last few years, but his toxicity towards his partners is nothing new, as his ex Melissa Lingefelt accused him of being verbally manipulative and physically violent. Between his rocky history and declining mental health, we're happy to see that Janet got out of there before anything too crazy took place. Who knows how bad of a dad he will be? We all know he can't build a treehouse. And at number 1, Shanine Doherty and Kurt Israyenko. This past April, the alumni of Charmed filed for a divorce from her husband Kurt after 11 years of marriage. She was photographed in March without her wedding ring on display, causing many to assume that the divorce had been something they were planning for quite some time. As with most celebrities who file for a divorce, the couple cited irreconcilable differences, and Shanine claimed that divorce was the last thing she wanted. Unfortunately, her husband left her no choice. While there was no real confirmation on what was happening behind the scenes, according to Shanine herself, Kurt's agent intimately involved with their divorce. Neither Kurt nor his agent have spoken out about the rumors, probably because they're too busy getting down. Ooh.
And at number 10, Justin and Hailey Bieber. According to Justin, he and Hailey's marriage was entirely arranged, and even though it wasn't all that hush-hush, it was rather surprising for the husband of the pair to reveal that kind of tea. It came in the form of a joke many fans assumed was a cry for help during a March 2020 Ellen Friday interview. The singer took part in the sit-down with guest host Demi Lovato and addressed his personal realization of literally being set up with his now wife following her father, Stephen Baldwin, dragging Hailey to the Today Show in 2009. Upon explaining, Justin referenced their infamous first encounter at the morning show, detailing her dad dragged her out of bed in the morning and basically was like, you know, I think because she was raised Christian and I think they found out. I think it was an arranged marriage, I'm pretty sure. Looking back now, I'm like, it was definitely. Like, they set this whole thing up. He also mentioned that Hailey's Christianity played a big part in him meeting her family and getting the ball rolling. Quote, since she was raised Christian and she's like, oh, I want to introduce you to Justin and his mom, you know, they have similar values and believe the same thing. We think you guys would be good friends. Demi, who seemed intrigued by the breakdown Justin was serving, later joked, well, mom, dad, if you're listening, it's time because I'm 27. Arrange it up. Before we break down the rest of today's list, be sure to smash that subscribe button if you're keeping up with BTS's top 10 countdowns. In at number 9, Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. Miley and Liam had a top secret island marriage back in 2018. Regarding the occasion, Miley uploaded a snap on Instagram of her and Liam embracing at their wedding, captioning the image of the now ex-spouses 10 years later. Because fans were in the dark about Miley and Liam's former nuptials ahead of the ceremony, there wasn't a lot of time in between to speculate what Miley would wear while walking down the aisle to give her hand to her then fiance. However, when the pictures dropped from the wedding event, it showed off Miley's appreciation for simple elegance, but also allowed her sexier, freer side she'd become known for to shine through. The Flowers singer-songwriter, her family, and her then husband all celebrated the occasion by posting snaps of the secret ceremony. Miley's gorgeous floor-length off-the-shoulder ivory Vivienne Westwood designed gown truly stole the show too. In at number 8, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. An OK exclusive report from 2012 unfolded the events of Blake and Ryan's bank heist-like wedding. The pair shocked the whole industry when their surprise South Californian wedding in September was hidden from the public eye. The couple ensured no one knew about their big special day, as Ryan stressed to their wedding planner how important it was for them to keep things quiet. At New York's Martha Stewart Wedding's bridal fashion week party, planner Tara Garrett informed OK about how exactly she made it work. Quote, they made me sign paperwork. I think it's funny because Ryan always said, just pretend we're going to be heisting a bank and that's how serious it is. I said, yes sir. Tara also slipped in a quick joke which quipped, now I think I'm a professional, I can rob a bank, don't you think? Even editorial director for Martha Stewart Weddings, Darcy Miller, further detailed, I told no one, I didn't even tell my my husband, anyone. I called them by a fake name. I still today call them by a fake name. I was with them yesterday and they were laughing. I got so paranoid about saying their name. For them, they really just wanted to have an intimate wedding, and I think that for us, we wanted to try really hard to maintain that. In at number 7, Elliot Page and Emma Portner. When Elliot and Emma tied the knot, their wedding ceremony was so discreet that fans were unaware of the big occasion until it was discussed via Instagram. Umbrella Academy actor Elliot recalled the events on the photo sharing platform that Wednesday, tagging his wife in the new post with the caption, "Can't believe I get to call this extraordinary woman my wife." After the news broke wind, a representative of Elliot confirmed the joyous news to People. Back in December 2020, Elliot, who was formerly Ellen, came out as trans while announcing their use of he/they pronouns. For their images on Instagram, one featured a photo of their joint hands and wedding bands against a white background. Before their marriage, Elliot initially started posting photos with the Canadian star on social media over that summer. In at number 6, Ashley Tisdale and Christopher French. Fans of High School Musical were shocked when Ashley and her current husband Christopher held a secret wedding back in 2014. They shared their vows to devote their lives to one another in a private Santa Barbara estate, and as per Radar Online, all the guests went to a secret location and shuttled to the estate at the time. The hush ceremony also served as a High School Musical cast reunion iconically. The majority of Ashley's co-stars, who she bonded with in her younger years through the franchise, were present. Actress, singer, and female lead of their franchise, Vanessa Hudgens, even took on the role of Ashley's maid of honor. Staying in tune with the trend of private celebrity weddings in more modern days, this couple was able to maintain the privacy of their nuptials, which is entirely how they had hoped for things to play out. According to a source, the event was very top secret. Ashley has been hyper-focused on keeping it a secret. She wanted it to be her day and didn't want it to be a circus. So when it came down to the arguably most important day of Ashley and Christopher's lives, the stars left no room for anything but maintaining their top priority, privacy. As per the same source, security was very tight. They took everyone's cell phones and electronics. In at number 5, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. Mila and Ashton even being in a relationship was a massive shock. So imagine fans' surprise when the still married couple first tied the knot. The spouses met and got well acquainted over the years from the time they've collectively starred in the hit series That 70s Show. However, they remained friendly up until 2012. It didn't take much longer for their engagement to follow in 2014 before they welcomed their first child, a baby girl, later that year. Then finally in 2015, the couple exchanged vows in a ranch on the outskirts of LA. And the craziest part? The guests weren't even aware of the location until a day prior. That's how tight-lipped the entire event was. The secret garden party was equally as private, with the festivities being held over the 4th of July weekend. According to a source who relayed information to People, the parents of two were already legally married, and the party merely served as a low-key gathering to ring in the joyous occasion with close friends and family. As they were surrounded by the most special people in their lives, the former 70s show's co-stars discreetly did it big in Oak Glen, California, setting themselves up in a secluded area that sprawled across acres of botanical gardens, ponds, and apple orchards. The gated space served as a locked-off safety net for the couple, as according to its website, it only then recently opened up its available space for exclusive private events and weddings. Mila and Ashton stocked the Camp Cuckoo dubbed greenery with outdoor-themed activities, as a row of tents made home for a luxury campground for guests. In at number 4, Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet. Jason and Lisa were dating for over a decade before they made things official. Despite speculation that the now ex-couple was already married as of 2007, it took them until 2017 to become legally married. The intimate celebration occurred in their Topanga, Californian home and held a lavish list of celebrity guests, including former co-stars like Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander, as well as Zoe Kravitz. Their hushed wedding happened after 12 whole years together, and while finally saying "I do," the two managed to hide the entire occasion. Surrounded by their most important family and friends, the couple's wedding was later reported by an insider. That source informed Us Weekly apparently they weren't officially married until then. Then, an additional insider reported to the same outlet that Lisa and Jason proceeded to purchase a marriage license that October, going on record for the LA County and County Clerk's office a single week before they tied the knot. After all that secret love, the pair called off their marriage in 2022, and no word has confirmed whether or not they have since remained divorced or remarried. In at number 3, Cardi B and Offset. Fans seemed elated when the rapper ended up proposing to his female rapping partner back in October 2017. However, the rather open-up artist revealed that she and Offset were already married a month before. Even more, the wedding remained so off the radar that Cardi didn't even bother wearing a dress or makeup, something she formally revealed in a lengthy tweet. Apparently, Cardi stepped forward to break the news after reports released suggestions that the couple, who was assumed to be merely engaged at the time were actually spouses. Cardi set the record straight as she normally does and left fans in a bout of surprise over it. That October, concert goers were the first to see Offset drop on one knee and propose to the female rapper during a Philadelphia Power 99 Powerhouse show. However, as per reports and later confirmed by the stars, Cardi and Offset had already held a secret ceremony weeks before they put on a show for the audience. On September 20th. Once it was revealed, fans started piecing together how inseparable they seemed and how their joint interview and Rolling Stone cover made a lot more sense. More so, supporters wondered why the pair ever kept their marriage a secret in the first place. In at number 2, Jim Parsons and Todd Spiewak. 14 lengthy years finally bore witness to Big Bang Theory actor Jim tying the knot with his since husband Todd in 2017. The same-sex couple got married at New York City's Rainbow Room, and according to one of the guests, who was also a co-star of Jim's, Mayim Bialik, ceremony attendees were not allowed to use their cellular devices at the event. Posted on Instagram, Mayim captioned a cute snap of the newlyweds, "What a wedding, not a cell phone in sight. Everyone was so present," which sounds pretentious. "It was truly powerful for us all to just be there fully. Todd and at the real Jim Parsons, you are so loved. Also, hands down prettiest chupa ever. Seriously." And at number 1, Jodie Foster and Alexandra Hedison. Jodie has maintained her incredible need for privacy throughout the entirety of her acclaimed career. Factually, her sexuality remained a massive secret up until she presumably came out in her 2013 Golden Globes acceptance speech. She and her then girlfriend, Alexandra, got married a mere year after seriously dating in 2014. Their private ceremony was held over a weekend, confirmed by Jodie's representative. Back in October 2013, the pair were only seeing one another with labels, but they managed to keep their lips sealed shut about the relationship in general until way later on. Still married to this day, Jodie and Alexandra made their first public appearance together that same October during a Beverly Hills Performing Arts Gala at the Wallace Annenberg Center.
At number 10, Alex Rodriguez. Now, even though they weren't technically married, Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez still had the intention of doing so. That is until things got messy and Alex was caught cheating in a huge scandal. We don't know for certain why Alex and J-Lo broke up after all this time, but we can imagine that the cheating scandal definitely played a part in the relationship's demise, destroying their dreams of getting married. Cheating scandals aren't anything new for the baseball player, having been accused of infidelity in the past, but this new scandal might have been the one where J-Lo has said enough is enough. In January of this year, Alex was accused of cheating on J-Lo with reality star Madison LaCroix. This rumor started circulating after LaCroix was accused of having an alleged affair with a former MLB player, and this was brought up during a taping of a reality reunion show. Shortly after the taping aired, these allegations escalated, with Madison admitting to having been in contact with A-Rod. She insisted that their communications were innocent, saying that they never met up and never had any physical contact, saying, quote, "He's never physically cheated on his fiancée with me," end quote. The only solid proof that we have of A-Rod being in contact with Madison comes from a close source to Alex, who told sources that he had slid into Madison's DMs and that they had exchanged some, quote, "thirsty photos." Not long after this all went down, A-Rod and J-Lo announced their breakup and called off their engagement, effectively destroying the marriage before it could even happen. At number 9, Gary Owen. Imagine throwing 20 years of marriage out the window. Well, that's essentially what Gary Owen did after his wife Kenya Duke found out that he had been cheating. Kenya Duke filed for divorce in March of this year, making allegations that her husband had been unfaithful in their marriage. After news broke of their divorce filing, Kenya took to her Instagram to imply that her husband had an affair with a woman from Dallas, someone who was mutual friends with Gary and reality star Claudia Jordan. In a now deleted Instagram post, Kenya sent a message to the other woman, whom she lovingly calls Dallas, Texas, saying, quote, "Dallas, Texas, I have your info. I'm going to deal with you in a minute. I'm a little busy right now. You can have him, but you can't disrespect me and my kids in the process." At Gary Owen Comedy, let her know a storm is coming. You should know better. Married, not separated. Married, end quote. But Kenya wasn't done clapping back, because she also followed up this message with one that was meant for her husband, where she said, quote, "All the energy you spent lying, acting, and creating a fake narrative for these women that want to be me, you could have done it with a veggie burger and a glass of fake filtered water," end quote. Other than what's being said on social media, their divorce seems to be being taken care of privately, so as far as I know, this Dallas, Texas person hasn't been exposed, but one thing is for sure, this marriage is well and truly destroyed. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also take some time to check out my gaming channel Viper Girl if you're interested in Minecraft content. I've got lots of fun things going on over there, so come check it out and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Offset. Now before you come at me saying, well Brie, Cardi and Offset are still together, I know that, but because of all the drama that these two have had in the past during their marriage and the fact that they almost got divorced, I think it's safe to say that things at one point had been destroyed, and it's honestly kind of debatable whether things are actually okay now or not. Though they've been married for over 3 years and have a daughter together, that apparently hasn't stopped Offset from seeking comfort elsewhere. As I mentioned, Cardi even filed for divorce from Offset in 2020 because of his infidelity, though they later got back together after he spoiled her for her birthday, buying her a $300,000 car and dedicating a billboard to her. Offset has had a number of cheating scandals over the course of his relationship with Cardi B. In 2018, about a year after the couple first got married in secret, Offset faced rumors that he had cheated on Cardi and even made an adult film with another woman. Back in 2020, he faced more cheating allegations where it was rumored that he even fathered a child during this affair. A lot of people say that this is a toxic relationship, but they keep coming back to each other, and Cardi is currently pregnant with their second child. Things seem to be rocky, but we'll just have to wait for the next cheating scandal to come along, I guess. At number 7, Kevin Hunter Sr. Back in 2019, talk show host Wendy Williams told her audience that she had been cheated on and exposed her husband for having a huge affair. Her 20-year marriage to Kevin Hunter was destroyed after he was accused of not only cheating on Wendy, but also fathering another woman's child. When reports broke of Kevin's affair with his massage therapist, revealing that his mistress had given birth to their child, Wendy finally said enough is enough and called it quits on their marriage. When speaking out about the whole affair, Wendy said, quote, "Look, my husband had a full baby with a woman he was involved with for 15 years. Infidelity is one thing, a full baby is a whole nother topic. A baby. I'm not changing Pampers. I want to be pampered. I learned from my mother to make lemons into lemonade. What am I supposed to do? Stay in the house and cry all day?" End quote. Following this explosive divorce, Kevin issued an apology to his wife where he said, quote, "I'm not proud of my recent actions and take full responsibility and apologize to my wife, my family, and her amazing fans. I'm going through a time of self-reflection and am trying to right some wrongs." End quote. I couldn't imagine being caught in something as dramatic and emotionally painful as what Wendy went through with her ex-husband, so I feel for her. At number 6, Corey Bowen. Now this is an example of how you destroy not only a marriage, but people's lives as well. For the Hills star Audrina Patridge and BMX athlete Corey Bowen, their relationship was downright toxic. After about 7 years of dating, the couple got engaged in November of 2015 and were soon married by the following year after welcoming their daughter Kira into the world. But the happy days of marriage didn't last long, and by 2018 their marriage had been destroyed and they were done with each other and the legal battle began. Audrina alleged in court that Corey was violent towards her, and leading up to their official divorce, Audrina had been granted a restraining order, preventing Corey from being within 100 feet of his wife and daughter. Audrina claimed that Corey had been very aggressive towards her on multiple occasions and that she just couldn't take it anymore. Luckily, she was able to get out of that abusive relationship and probably regrets getting into it in the first place. I hate hearing about stories like this where a partner hurts another like this. It is heartbreaking and should never happen to anyone. At number 5, Tom D'Agostino. Even though she was warned about Tom and his infidelity, Real Housewives of New York cast member Luann D'Agostino went through with her marriage to her now ex-husband, and she regrets it because their marriage was destroyed almost instantly. After getting married in a New Year's wedding in 2016, at the end of the Real Housewives 8th season, it was revealed that one of the cast members had compromising photos of Tom kissing another woman just days after his and Luann's engagement party. Literally just a little while before they officially got married. Soon it became apparent to the public that there was some serious problems in their relationship as Luann and Tom got into a heated argument at a restaurant, which ended with Luann slapping Tom across the face. This heated relationship and Tom's constant cheating never subsided, as days before their divorce announcement, Tom was caught with another woman, but at that point, no one was really surprised. They were only married for 7 months, and those were the craziest 7 months of their lives. This marriage kept getting more and more destroyed the more that Luann found out about what Tom had been doing in secret. To find that out about your partner must be so heartbreaking. At number 4, Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson and ex-wife Evelyn Lozada were only married for 2 months, but so much happened in that short amount of time to permanently damage their relationship and destroy their marriage. Their relationship was intense, but it wasn't until after they were married that the world learned just how intense it was. After dating for less than a year, the two were wed in a 4th of July ceremony in 2012, but just 2 months later there came an incident that broke them forever. Evelyn recalled finding a receipt in Chad's car that prompted the idea that Chad was cheating. The two fought and it ended with Chad seriously injuring his wife. Chad had been arrested for battery and domestic violence, and they ended up getting divorced shortly after the incident. Ellen later did an interview about the ordeal where she opened up about her feelings on the situation, and the two have gone their separate ways since. Violent behavior is never the answer and is certainly a one-way ticket to destroying your relationship for good. At number 3, Prince Charles. Even though they were the world's most popular couple at one time, Prince Charles and Princess Diana had plenty of problems, and most of those problems stemmed from Prince Charles. For years, people had been aware of Charles's love triangle between Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles, and this very love triangle is what ultimately caused their marriage to fail miserably. She was always the second best in Charles' eyes, having never gotten over his infatuation for Camilla, a woman that he was told he could never have. Charles and Diana got married in 1981 and had 2 kids together, but because of Charles's extramarital affairs and Diana's unhappiness in the relationship, they got divorced in 1996. Diana said that she regretted marrying Charles because she always knew that there would always be 3 in the marriage: her, Charles, and Camilla. She certainly deserved so much better, but got Charles instead. But even though she didn't feel the love from her husband, she did feel the love from the rest of the world. At number 2, Madonna and Guy Richie. This relationship was one of the most toxic, both while they were together and especially afterwards. Madonna and Guy Richie have been divorced for over 10 years, but just because their marriage ended so long ago, that doesn't necessarily mean that their hatred towards one another has ended. The two were married for almost a decade, but their distaste for one another has lasted much longer, and because of this negativity, they no doubt regret ever getting married in the first place. This relationship is a case of both parties playing a part in destroying it because they both brought up their own levels of toxicity and it just blew up in their faces. It seemed like their marriage turned sour because Madonna was working so hard on her career, so things became strained between them and the hostility began to grow. Coming out of the divorce, the worst of it started to come out. Guy made a lot of harsh comments about his marriage to Madonna, comparing his relationship with the singer to a soap opera, and also said that she was more concerned about her public image than she was with the marriage. Madonna also fired back at her ex in the past, saying that she felt like she was incarcerated during their marriage and that Guy was nothing but a gold digger. There was just a whole lot of drama there, which really shows that they weren't a good match at all. And finally, at number 1, Tiger Woods. After his 2009 bombshell cheating scandal, Tiger Woods' relationship with his wife completely crumbled and the whole world watched it happen. It all started after Tiger crashed his Cadillac into a fire hydrant, and this incident made headlines, but it also drew attention to another headline that he had made days earlier after tabloids published a story alleging that Tiger was having an affair with a nightclub manager. Soon the focus switched from the crash to this affair drama, and one alleged affair turned into many more as 6 women ended up coming forward saying that they had also had intimate relationships with the golfer. Soon his marriage crumbled and he lost everything he had worked for, both in his personal life and also in his career. At number 10, Mike Cosson. I stand by the saying, once a cheater, always a cheater, and so do a lot of other people who've been in failed relationships. Once your partner does you wrong, it takes a lot to regain that trust, and sometimes after a bond is broken, it can never be mended. This seems to have been the case with football player Mike Cosson and his wife, singer and actress Jana Kramer. The couple faced a cheating scandal back in 2016, and after that they spent the next few years trying to work on their marriage, trying to reconcile after this drama affected them so greatly, but the couple recently called it quits on their marriage when Jana took to social media in late April to announce their divorce. Her message to the public read, quote, "It's time. As I try to make sense of a reality I never wanted to believe could be possible again, those words have now become a reality. I've fought, y'all. I've loved hard. I've forgiven. I've put the work in. I've given everything I have, and now I have nothing else to give." End quote. The couple briefly split following the cheating scandal I mentioned before, where Mike's secrets were exposed, and though they were able to make amends to try and work on regaining their bond, things just weren't meant to work out in the long term, it seems. In her filings, Jana also cited the causes and reasons for their divorce, saying that, quote, "Inappropriate marital conduct, irreconcilable differences, and adultery were the reasons behind their failed marriage." At number 9, Bill Gates. When news first broke of Bill and Melinda Gates' divorce, it came as a shock to a lot of people, but once more information started to come out about Melinda's side of the relationship, people got to see that the divorce was fueled by a lot of Bill's actions. We have been finding out about how unhappy Melinda was in her marriage, but it turns out that the tipping point in the couple's marriage came after Bill started getting a little too close to Jeffrey Epstein. Information has come out suggesting that Melinda had made the decision to begin the divorcing process in 2019 after a report by the New York Times had linked Bill and Jeffrey. Melinda had previously warned Bill about Epstein and his business when they first met back in 2013. However, despite her forewarnings, Bill allegedly continued to meet meet with Epstein, later leading him to getting exposed for their friendship when Epstein was arrested in 2019. Melinda allegedly wanted to get out of her marriage as soon as she realized that Bill was in too deep with Epstein because she knew that their connection would end badly and she did not want to deal with that. If Bill hadn't gotten so close to Epstein, maybe things would have been different. Now before we carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also head on over to my gaming channel Viper Girl if you're interested in gaming content, because I have lots of fun stuff going on over there and you don't want to miss it, so go check it out and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cheating scandals can be a huge deal among celebrities, and this next one is kind of chaotic and very messy. Basically, actor and former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was caught in a very messy and high-profile cheating scandal that not only brought life into the world, but also ruined relationships. In 1997, Arnold had an affair with the family's former housekeeper Patty, and she soon became pregnant with his son. At the very same time, his wife was also expecting their 4th kid. As if the universe was wanting to make things extra spicy for Arnold, both his wife and mistress ended up giving birth within 5 days of each other, though they wouldn't find out about this until about a decade later. Much like all secrets, they have to come out eventually, and Arnold ended up coming clean to his wife about his affair in 2007. This information wasn't immediately shared with the public until 2011, where things blew up. Arnold revealed his infidelity to the public after announcing that he and his wife Maria were separating, while also revealing the truth about his kid with his mistress. This scandal hit his family really hard and it ruined many of his relationships. At number 7, Jesse James. If you've ever been cheated on, then you know how awful it is. Finding out that your partner has been unfaithful is always heartbreaking, but finding out that it happened multiple times is a feeling that I honestly couldn't imagine. Serial cheating is something that greatly affected Jesse James and drag racer Alexis DeJouria's relationship after it was discovered that there was a lot of secrets being kept and a lot of infidelity. After a very messy cheating scandal, Jesse and Alexis ended their relationship after 7 years together. This breakup was really chaotic for the both of them because it was revealed that Jesse had cheated on his wife with at least 20 different women. According to some sources, Jesse would sneak many women into his house, as well as fly women out to Austin where he lived to hook up with them in hotel rooms. It was also reported that even after everything Jesse did, Alexis tried to work things out with him, but he wasn't interested in making things work with her. Cheating is always the one way to completely destroy your relationship with someone, and Jesse is known for doing this since he also had a similar scandal with Sandra Bullock while they were together. At number 6, Joe Exotic. Wondering what's going on with Joe Exotic? Probably not, but I'll tell you anyway. After rising to fame last year following the Tiger King documentary, some people decided to check in on Joe Exotic from time to time, even though he's behind bars. Joe was sent to prison for his crimes, including his attempt at ending the life of his rival Carol Baskin, as well as animal endangerment. In the docuseries, we also learned about Joe's personal life, including his relationship with his husband Dylan Passage. Dylan was one of the few men that Joe was married to, but now we're learning that a long-distance relationship from behind bars isn't the healthiest, as Joe and Dylan have announced their divorce. Dylan told sources that things have been very difficult to maintain when your partner is in jail for the next 20 years or so, and so they made the decision to end their marriage. If Joe didn't commit the crimes that he did, then maybe things would have been different and he would still be married. Joe has said that Dylan was helping him get through his time in prison, so now it seems like he'll be going it alone. At number 5, Brad Pitt. The last few marriages Brad Pitt has been in have not been the most successful, and he's kind of to blame. Before Brad and Angelina were able to take Hollywood by storm as a power couple, Brad and Jennifer Aniston were a thing, and they had a good thing going for a while until infidelity came in and ruined things. The couple got married in 2000 in a ceremony in Malibu, but come 2005, things started to break down. Brad and Angelina met while working on the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith in the summer of that year, and Brad fell hard for Angie. There was some cheating involved, and eventually Brad and Jen split up, making room for Angelina to enter the picture. Fast forward about a decade and the couple got married, only to divorce shortly after that because of some family drama, among other things. Brad seems to be really good at destroying his marriages, and honestly, that's not a good talent to have. At number 4, Eminem. Rapper Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, has had a rocky relationship with his ex-wife Kim Scott, and it's sort of been that way since the very beginning. They met in the late 80s when Marshall was 15 and Kim was 13, and they became pretty dependent on each other. They lived together at his family home, later beginning a romantic relationship, moving in together, and having a daughter. After years of being an on-again, off-again couple, the two got married shortly before Marshall's first major tour. It was then that Kim saw Marshall and their relationship as imperfect, perfect, and she started to doubt whether she wanted this type of life for herself. Kim said that after the tour, Marshall got a big ego and he started treating her as someone that was not worthy of his love and presence because he was a big star. Kim also alleged that her husband had been cheating on her. The rapper's career had a very negative effect on their relationship, and so 2 years after tying the knot, they divorced. Maybe Eminem wasn't ready to handle the fame he was getting, and that's what affected the relationship, but the bottom line here is that Kim didn't like how he had changed and how she was being treated, so she left. At number 3, Jude Law. Jude Law was involved in a cheating scandal in the early 2000s that destroyed his marriage to Sienna Miller and left a lot of people a little taken aback. After getting engaged in 2004, Jude Law was exposed for cheating on his fiancée with a woman named Daisy Wright. In 2006, Daisy, the nanny for Jude's children, came forward about how she and Jude were allegedly having an affair. She ended up spilling the beans on their entire relationship in an interview she did with the Sunday Mirror, and she went in depth about her affair with the actor, sharing every scandalous detail. A lot of people were shocked to hear about this whole affair, but eventually Jude came clean to the public about everything and issued an apology to Sienna. He ruined his marriage to be because he decided to cheat, so that's pretty unfortunate that their marriage ended before it even began. At number 2, Jay-Z. Even the biggest celebrity couples have their problems. Take Beyonce and Jay-Z for example. Though this couple is seen by many as a Hollywood power couple, always standing by each other's sides, even they have had their troubles with infidelity. It all started when Solange and Jay-Z got into that big elevator fight at the Met. There was a lot of drama surrounding that fight because no one really knew what provoked it until word came out saying that it was because Jay-Z had cheated. Though no one really acknowledged or spoke about this apparent infidelity, things got worse when Beyonce low-key exposed her husband's infidelity on her album Lemonade, where she made several subtle and not so subtle comments on her husband's alleged affair. Jay-Z had to respond with his music where he apologized to his wife for his infidelity and addressed some of their relationship issues. After all this drama both in and out of the music world, they were able to seek out couples therapy and rebuild their relationship, but for a while there, things looked bad and Jay-Z had pretty much destroyed their relationship for a bit. And finally, at number 1, Kanye West. Kanye has been through a lot lately. He lost the presidential race and now he's lost his marriage. Kim and Kanye's relationship looked like it had been on his last leg for a while, especially after all of that drama between Kanye and the Kardashians following his presidential campaign rant and Twitter meltdowns. There was, however, a lot more going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. Apparently, there came a point where things just became too complicated and too toxic to handle. Kim talked about some of the rocky things that happened with her and Kanye towards the end, like how he spent much of his time away from his family in Wyoming and how their communication was at an all-time low. There was also reports that Kim and Kanye were fighting a lot, and there was also a rumor that Kanye had tried to sleep with another woman while married to Kim. According to the reality star, Kanye also didn't really want to contribute to fixing the relationship, even though they both knew that things weren't working anymore, so maybe if he had just put more effort in, things would have been different.
And at number 10, Kris Humphries and Kim Kardashian. This is the wedding that no one's going to forget because after everything leading up to the union, it only lasted a measly 72 days. The reality TV star and basketball player seemed madly in love, and the couple documented basically their entire relationship on Kim's reality TV show, along with their lavish wedding ceremony. However, there was a lot of tension between the couple during the filming of their wedding process, leading some to think their days were numbered. And since they divorced only 72 days later, those people were right. Following the split, many people thought the marriage was just a publicity stunt. That rumor got so big that Humphries actually used the theory in his divorce proceedings. The divorce was so messy that it wasn't finalized until over 2 years later. And at number 9, Drew Barrymore and Tom Green. Drew Barrymore and Tom Green split after only 5 months of marriage, and usually when marriages last only a few months, there's a lot of bad blood between the former couple. But thankfully with these two, that's not the case. They even made a point to tell their fans not to go after their former partners. Both Green and Barrymore released statements praising their former spouses, proving that it is possible to remain civil after marriage. Green said about Barrymore, quote, "Drew is a wonderful woman. I love her very much. I wish our marriage could have worked out. I wish her much happiness." And at number 8, Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley. This marriage got even more attention than the usual celebrity weddings because Elvis's only daughter, Lisa Marie, was getting married. The couple even paid homage to Presley's late father and got married on the 25th anniversary of his passing in 2002. However, everyone was heartbroken when the couple announced that they would be divorcing only 3 months later. At the time, both parties were incredibly secretive about the reasoning for the split. Cage even said, quote, "I did not talk about the marriage and I'm not going to talk about the divorce." Years later, it was clear the marriage was probably just too fast, and the pair didn't think it through. Presley said later on, quote, "I'm sad about this, but we shouldn't have been married in the first place." In at number 7, Britney Spears and Jason Alexander. Britney Spears and her childhood friend Jason Alexander got married and then divorced in a record 55 hours. The split didn't come as a shock to those that knew the full story though. What happened was that both of them traveled to Las Vegas to celebrate New Year's Eve, and they decided to meet up well there, along with a few of their other friends. The pair were not planning on getting married because they weren't even dating at the time, but things changed very fast, and at the end of the night they were married in a Vegas chapel. But the very next day, Spears filed for an annulment. The reasoning was that Spears, quote, lacked understanding of her actions and she was incapable of agreeing to the marriage. And at number 6, Nikki Hilton and Todd Andrew Meester. This couple is another one that had a quickie Vegas wedding and soon regretted it. The two married in 2004 in a ceremony that was at 2:30 a.m. And if you listen to Ted Mosby, you know that nothing good happens after 2 a.m. I personally live by that rule. Her sister Paris Hilton was in attendance and Jeff Beecher was the best man. Beecher spoke about the ceremony days after, saying, quote, "It was a beautiful small wedding with an amazing energy. The two of them are very much in love." However, their love didn't last and the couple got their wedding annulled just before 3 months of marriage. Halfway number 5, Eddie Murphy and Tracy Edmonds. This is one of the weddings that family and friends were pretty sure was not going to last based on the couple's interaction before the wedding. This one honestly reminds me a lot of Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. The couple decided to wed on a private island off Bora Bora on New Year's Day in 2008, but sources later told People magazine that the couple was in shambles leading up to the wedding. The source said, quote, "Eddie started yelling at Tracy in front of people. He did it on a few occasions and it was very embarrassing." 2 weeks after the rocky ceremony, they announced that they were splitting. They also claimed the wedding was only a symbolic union, not a legally binding marriage in the United States. I guess that made things a lot easier. In at number 4, Renee Zellweger and Kenny Chesney. This couple decided to get an annulment 4 months after the wedding, and at the time, the split raised a lot of questions about Chesney's sexual orientation. However, both partners denied this. Zellweger filed for divorce on September 15th of 2005, citing fraud as the reason for the split, raising even more eyebrows. However, she later said the fraud claim was just a lie to have the annulment go through. When asked about the marriage and divorce years later, Zellweger said, quote, "I forgot about that. It's a pretty big thing to forget, isn't it? That made me sad," adding that it made her sad that a personal decision between the two of them could spark those kind of rumors. And at number 3, Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson. Many thought these two would be a match made in heaven because model and rocker couples were very common at that time. However, this was not the case, and the couple split after 4 months together. At the time, there were lots of rumors speculating what went wrong. One rumor that got a lot of attention said that they split because Anderson was in the Borat movie and Kid Rock was jealous. But Kid Rock actually revealed on the Howard Stern show that money disputes and family drama were the real reason for the split. Years later, when asked if the former couple kept in touch, Kid Rock said, quote, "Not really. If I saw her somewhere, I'd say hi, but I try not to go in the same circles. I touched the stove was hot, and I think I'm not gonna touch the stove anymore." And at number 2, Cher and Greg Allman. Cher and Greg Allman got married in 1975, only days after her divorce from Sonny was finalized, but the union only lasted 10 days before Cher decided to file for divorce, citing Allman's substance issues as part of the reason why. But that was not the end of their time together. After their divorce, the couple decided to get back together shortly after and remarried, but they were about to split again until Cher realized that she was pregnant with their son, Elijah Blue Allman. The couple only stayed together for a few months longer until they split for good in 1977. During their time together, they made an album called To the Hard Way. And at number 1, Ali Landry and Mario Lopez. Ali Landry and Mario Lopez got married in 2004, but it started off on a horrible note because Lopez had been with another woman just days before, clearly not interested in getting married. However, instead of coming clean and admitting to the cheating before the wedding, Lopez decided to pretend it didn't happen. But the truth always comes out, and after Landry found out about the cheating, she filed for an annulment. This took place 18 days after the wedding. Lopez discussed the wedding more on the Howard Stern show, saying, quote, "At that point, I was not ready to settle down. I wasn't man enough to know how to go about handling it. But things worked out well for the couple, and they're both happily married just to other people now."
At number 10, John Finlay. 2020 saw the success of the Tiger King documentary on Netflix, and in its aftermath, it saw some people like Joe Exotic become something of a celebrity. He and the others involved in his life became public figures, and there are still a number of people who are still interested in their lives and in getting some tea on Mr. Exotic, who is currently behind bars. Joe's ex-husband John Finlay recently came forward to talk about his life after the documentary brought him some minor popularity, and he exposed his former relationship with the now imprisoned Big Cat owner and exposed his marriage. John cannot express enough how regretful his marriage to Joe Exotic was. John John said that this whole marriage was fake and that it was just for Joe's popularity, remarking that the wedding that was shown in the documentary, which showed him, Joe, and Travis Maldonado, was all, quote, basically a publicity stunt so Joe could get his own reality TV series. John spoke out saying that he still carries the pain from his time with Joe and is trying to forget his past by moving on with his new wife and by making steps towards having his tattoos of Joe removed from his body. John is in a better place now after leaving his life with Joe behind and is crediting much of his growth to his bond with his wife, but he says that he still has a long way to go to erasing the past. At number 9, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey has been in her fair share of high-profile relationships, and throughout the years, she's had some regretful ones as well. In September 2020, the singer revealed in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, that she once had an affair which stemmed from her unhappy marriage to her first husband. In the book, Mariah wrote about how during her marriage to music exec Tommy Mottola, she cheated on him with baseball star Derek Jeter. Mariah wrote about how she was feeling during this time with Tommy, talking about how she felt trapped in her marriage because of the age difference between her and her husband, and because she felt as though Tommy was very controlling. This lack of love in the relationship prompted her to seek out a temporary escape, and after meeting Derek at a dinner party in 1997, she bonded with him. Mariah wrote that she kissed Derek one night and that after that moment, they never went any further until Mariah ended her marriage, which she promptly did after that. She regretted getting into a toxic relationship with her first husband, but she found a temporary escape from the situation in the end. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my channel Viper Girl if you're looking to kick back and watch some gaming content hosted by me. At number 8, Anna Faris. Though Anna Faris and Chris Pratt split around 4 years ago, there hasn't been much talk about what went wrong in their relationship until just recently. During an episode of Anna Faris's podcast, she sat down with actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and the two of them had a conversation about marriage. Both Anna and Gwyneth had gone through divorces and finding love after such an event, and so they opened up about those experiences. Anna asked Gwyneth if her, quote, taste in partners has changed throughout the decades of her life, to which she replied that her new partner is different in the sense that he helps her be more honest with herself. Anna then replied saying that she never felt as though she had that sense of honesty in her previous marriage to Chris Pratt, later going on to essentially expose Chris for the way things were in their marriage and how this lack of emotional honesty caused, quote, competitiveness and comparison in the relationship. Now, it's really hard to say if she really regrets her entire relationship with Chris as a whole, but she does regret not having certain positive aspects in her relationship, seeing that it is a vital part of a successful marriage. At number 7, Madonna and Guy Richie. Here's a relationship that was just messy and toxic in every sense. Madonna and Guy Richie divorced over 10 years ago, but just because their marriage ended so long ago, that doesn't necessarily mean that their hatred towards each other will have ended. The two were married for almost a decade, but their distaste from one another has lasted much longer, and because of this negativity, they no doubt regret ever getting married in the first place. It seems like their marriage turned sour because Madonna was working so hard on her career, and so things became strained between them and the hostility began to grow. Coming out of the divorce, the worst of it started to get out. Guy made a lot of harsh comments about his marriage to Madonna, comparing his relationship with the singer to a soap opera, and also said that she was more concerned with her public image than she was with their marriage. Madonna has fired back at her ex in the past, saying that she felt like she was incarcerated during their marriage and that Guy was nothing but a gold digger. There was just a lot of drama there, which really shows that they weren't a good match at all. At number 6, Wendy Williams. In 2019, talk show host Wendy Williams exposed her husband's serious affair with his massage therapist. Her 20-year marriage to her husband Kevin Hunter was dissolved after he was accused of not only cheating on Wendy, but also fathering another woman's child. When news broke of Kevin's affair, it was also revealed that his mistress had given birth to their child, and upon discovering this information, Wendy said enough is enough. When speaking out about the whole dramatic affair, Wendy said, quote, look, my husband had a full baby with a woman he was involved with for 15 years. Infidelity is one thing, a full baby is a whole nother topic. A baby. I'm not changing Pampers, I want to be pampered. I learned from my mother how to make lemons into lemonade. What am I supposed to do? Stay in the house and cry all day? End quote. She definitely regrets her marriage to Kevin just because of how serious this affair was. To not only cheat on your partner, but also have a child with someone else while being unfaithful is certainly something that would make you wish that you never even met this person. At number 5, Kim Kardashian. By now we all know that Kim Kardashian and Kanye Kanye West are divorcing. Since the beginning of this year, there have been rumors circulating mainly about cheating, and no one really knows what's true and what isn't. In January, people were speculating that Kanye had an affair with YouTuber and makeup mogul Jeffree Star, and later there came speculation that Kanye tried to cheat on Kim with reality TV star Claudia Jordan. Between the cheating allegations and rumors and all of that other drama that's gone on with Kanye lately, including his presidential campaign last year and his numerous Twitter rampages, I think Kim might have some regrets about ever getting involved with Kanye because of all the drama that he's caused her. I'm sure that she doesn't completely regret her relationship with him since he did father her kids, who are her whole world, but I'm sure she would have loved to do without all of the constant Kanye drama that she's had to deal with over the past few years. At number 4, Jana Kramer. Jana Kramer made the decision to try and make things work after the huge 2016 cheating scandal where her husband's infidelity and sex addiction were brought to light, but now she's definitely regretting that decision. After years of trying to grow from their troubled marriage, football player Mike Costin and his wife, singer and actress Jana Kramer, called it quits on their relationship. Jana took to her social media in late April to announce their split, saying, quote, "It's time. As I try to make sense of a reality that I never wanted to believe could be possible again, those words have become a reality. I've fought, y'all. I've loved hard. I've forgiven. I've put the work in. I've given everything I have, and now I have nothing else to give." End quote. Jana also cited, quote, "inappropriate marital conduct, irreconcilable differences, and adultery as reasons for their divorce." Though the pair briefly split up in 2016 following that cheating scandal, and though they did reconcile shortly after that scandal, it seems as though too much damage was done, and judging by the tone in her divorce statement, it seems like she regrets sticking around as long as she did. At number 3, Alexis DeJoria and Sandra Bullock. Once a cheater, always a cheater, right? Well, that's how drag racer Alexis DeJoria and Sandra Bullock feel about their ex-husband Jesse James. Jesse has earned the label of a serial cheater after it was discovered that there was some serious infidelity plaguing not only his past relationship with Sandra, but also his most recent marriage to Alexis. Both Sandra and Alexis have been caught in a cheating scandal with Jesse, and this most recent scandal revealed that Jesse had cheated on Alexis with at least 20 different women. According to some sources, it was revealed that Jesse would sneak women into his family home, as well as fly women out to Austin to hook up with them in hotel rooms. It was also reported that Alexis tried to work things out with Jesse, but he wasn't interested in making things work. After all of this drama and broken trust, both Alexis and Sandra regret ever being married to Jesse because of how much disregard he seemed to have had for their respective relationships. At number 2, Mary-Kate Olsen. After multiple attempts, Mary-Kate Olsen successfully filed for divorce from her husband, Olivier Sarkozy. Mary-Kate had tried multiple times to file for divorce from her husband through the New York City courts last year, but because of the pandemic and stay-at-home orders in New York, she was denied twice before finally having her paperwork accepted in late May. The two had been married since 2015 and apparently had a number of rough patches, most notably on their stance of starting a family. Olivier, who already had children with his ex-wife, didn't want anymore, though Mary-Kate did. And on top of that, apparently the tipping point in their relationship was when Olivier's ex-wife moved into the couple's home. Mary-Kate seemed to have had enough with their disagreements, especially those that involved his ex-wife, and so she decided to leave her husband. Following her desire to leave, her husband apparently kicked Mary-Kate out of their home, and she was close to losing all of her personal belongings. This was all very toxic, so I'm sure she regretted her marriage to him in that moment. And finally, at number 1, Melinda Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates have been in and out of the news regarding their divorce, ending their marriage of nearly 30 years. Now that they're separating, more and more news is coming out about Bill, which shows that Melinda wasn't always happy and probably regretted her marriage to him at times. The moment where she really wanted to leave, though, was when her husband began a friendship and close bond with Jeffrey Epstein. Information has come out suggesting that Melinda had made the decision to begin the divorcing process in 2019 after a report by the New York Times had linked Bill and Jeffrey. Melinda previously warned Bill about the billionaire when they first met back in 2013. However, despite her forewarnings, Bill allegedly continued to meet with Epstein, later leading to him getting exposed for their relationship when Epstein was arrested in 2019. Melinda seemingly wanted out of her marriage as soon as she realized that Bill was in too deep with Epstein. Now that all of this has come out, you can really start to see what Melinda was dealing with for all those years, and that she had been dealing with an unhappy marriage for quite a while.